Hey, welcome back out to the Cleveland Pulse YouTube channel. Today, looking to get out of the comfort zone, do something a little bit different. Usually Justin and I talk about current events, what's happening around us in the world of Cleveland sports. But I kind of wanted to take a step back today and do just a more general topic and kind of just ramble here and edit it and make it look good and put some effort into the video and not just upload it in a hurry like we do with a lot of our stuff because we're trying to get it out. But I'm thinking of calling this the Pulse Perspective. It's going to be topics that maybe we think about as fans, but we don't really have time to elaborate on or talk about or get into as far as discussion. So I'm going to try to keep this short, 10 minutes or less. You'll probably see some more advanced editing from what you're used to, as usually we just record in one run because we want the generic, organic experience for our viewers. But that's it for me in this intro. Let's get into it. The Pulse Perspective number 1, what it takes to be successful in Cleveland. So for this first episode of the Pulse Perspective, talking about success in Cleveland, I thought that I would go over some of the coach and ownership / general manager tandems around the city and just compare the three major sports franchises as far as success, consistent success, maybe who has the best outlook at the end, and just talk about what it means to be successful as a Cleveland sports franchise. And I think the best example of this would be Terry Francona, Paul Dolan, Chris Antonetti, and everybody over at the Cleveland Guardians organization. We do not talk about them a lot here, but they're the model of consistency in the city. Nobody has been more consistent as them since 2013. That's when Terry Francona was hired as the head coach of the Cleveland Indians at that time, now the Cleveland Guardians in the postseason. Good luck to them. They're down 1-0 right now. As far as the Yankees series, we've got another game coming up tomorrow as I am recording this on Wednesday the 12th. But 10 seasons for Terry Francona. Listen to this stat. There's only one stat that you need to know about the Cleveland Indians / Guardians the last 10 seasons. Only 19 games have been managed under Terry Francona where the team was eliminated from the playoffs, also known as meaningless baseball. So meaningless baseball means you're eliminated from the playoffs, the game doesn't matter. Happens a lot more in Major League Baseball because you just play more games. There's 162 games most seasons in the MLB. COVID year, there was less, obviously. But yeah, there's 82 games in the NBA. You're in contention for a lot of that season, especially with the playing games. And, of course, the NFL, you could be in contention all the way down to the last week and still not make it. But 19 games out of 1,516 games Terry Francona has managed. That's it. That's only 1.25% of the games that Terry Francona has managed as the Cleveland manager where we were not in contention for a playoff spot. Absolutely incredible. They do it the right way. People hate how they do it, but they do it the right way. Homegrown, organic guys. You see it this year. It's a model of the team. They don't go out and make big splash moves all the time. And that works for baseball. It probably doesn't work for like the NBA. It doesn't work. You have to take a different approach. Football can be similar, but you really see them developing from the ground up with a great farm system over there as far as the Guardians go. Now let's talk about the men of the hour, because it's football season for the most part. Kevin Stefanski and Jimmy Haslam. So their tenure here has been interesting. Stefanski has an overall record of 21-15 as a head coach. Maybe 21-15-1 actually. I'll have to go double check that. But he has a winning record as a head coach. He has a de facto playoff win, even though he wasn't really the coach for that game. He was still the head coach of the team that won the playoff game in Pittsburgh that year. So he has a playoff win as far as keeping the cohesion together. Mike Prefer coached that game, which is honestly hilarious to think about now, considering he can't even line our guys up for an onside kick. But we have a playoff win, and we have some controversy, typical with the Browns, honestly, obviously with the move for Deshaun Watson. That was an Andrew Berry and a Haslam thing at the end of the day. So Jimmy Haslam just doesn't – people don't really like him in Cleveland for obvious reasons. The Browns, while they've been good as far as their history since 1999 under Haslam, for half of it basically, he doesn't really get a lot of slack there. You, of course, make a lot of the fans mad when going out and trading for Deshaun Watson and subsequently getting rid of Baker Mayfield. It's understandable. He has a past that isn't very noble and respectable, Jimmy Haslam, but I think Kevin Stefanski is a good head coach. He's definitely serviceable. I don't know if you could consider him great. The great part is that he's young, so if you could keep him around, if you could keep the consistency there at the head coaching position, if the boat totally doesn't, go underwater, that's all you can ask for. That's what the Cleveland Guardians have done so well. Francona's managed that team for a decade. They're competitive every year. So that can't be understated. That obviously translates to your play on the field. And finally, maybe the most interesting group is JB Bickerstaff, Kobe Altman, and Dan Gilbert. So the story with Dan Gilbert is that obviously he gets a lot of respect for the 2016 championship. He probably doesn't get as much respect as he deserves because those teams were just always carried by LeBron for the most part. And he doesn't really have a lot to show for, Dan Gilbert, without LeBron until recently. But that franchise has been competent for the most part because of LeBron for basically the 2010s, at least half of the 2010s, and then just a recent resurgence here between last year, the offseason move to acquire Donovan Mitchell, which is a testament to how Kobe Altman has attempted to turn things around for the Cavaliers. But overall, that franchise has the curse of LeBron. It really does. That franchise, everybody really doesn't give us respect because they feel like LeBron was the whole team. And some years that's fair enough, but the championship year, of course, Kyrie Irving plays a big role. Of course, we make big moves for Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith, people like that. You had minor role players, Matthew Dellavedova, who, they always gave us their best. Even if it wasn't great, they always gave us their best in some of those years. So JB, interestingly enough, his record with the Cavs is 71-94 because he had to go through a couple of major rebuilding years when we were the worst team in the league, essentially, for 2 straight seasons. It's not really his fault, but now the expectations are ramping up. Everything he does this year is going to be under a microscope. You go to the play-in game last year, lose. You don't really have your greatest showing as a head coach in that game. And that continues to this year. Your roster, your minutes, your rotation, they're all going to be scrutinized by whoever. The talking heads at ESPN, the talking heads on Twitter, the talking heads on YouTube, and us included. I mean, we're not going to let JB off the hook if he comes out and doesn't coach well. There's really not a whole lot of evidence to say that that's going to happen, but you have to consider it a possibility, and let's just hope for the best for our Cavaliers this year. We all know that there's a lot of potential on that squad. That's pretty much it for this Pulse Perspective. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope it was something a little bit shorter for you to digest. And I hope you guys comment on my thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you just not watch the Guardians / the Indians? That's fair enough if you don't, but easily the most consistent franchise this city has had the last 10 years. Not even close. Of course, the Cavs give you the championship, which is great, obviously, in its own right. So you could make the argument that the Cavs have brought more to the city in the last decade than the Cleveland Guardians. But to each their own. Like I said, comment down below. Hit that like button. And yeah, let me know if you want to see more content in the future like this. Drop some topic discussion points down below. Hey, do this for the next episode. Hey, talk about this aspect of Cleveland sports for the next episode. And any suggestions you guys have, I'll definitely roll with. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. It's been the Cleveland Pulse. Peace.